And so this is gonna be a rough track. I'm just trying to survive. For today's video, we are at the famous Leogang in Austria, and I'm here so that I can tackle the World Cup downhill track. But before we get to that, I really want to show you guys this amazing black diamond, what Leogang calls a pro jump line. It's incredible. Everything from the berms to the jumps, the flow is phenomenal, and it is perfectly manicured. I just want to take a minute to say that these jumps on Hot Shot, I'm pretty sure some of them are the biggest jumps I've ever seen in my life. So therefore, I wasn't able to clear them all, and honestly, it had nothing to do with the jump. It just had to do with my level of commitment, and I didn't have the confidence for it. I'm grabbing my brakes before some of these huge slips. They were pretty intimidating to me, despite the fact many of them were tables. Before we drop into the World Cup downhill track, I do want to give you a little bit of background about myself, just so that you know, at least I'd like to think I'm relatively qualified to try my hand at this. I've ridden a couple of World Cup tracks before, and they are no joke. Both Snowshoe and Val di Sole, they had me walking in different parts, which is crazy because I've actually raced the EWS 100 in Zermatt, Switzerland, and also Val di Fassa in Canazei, Italy. I am not a professional racer. However, I'd like to think that I had a pretty respectable finish in Val di Fassa, and that I really held my own, finishing about middle of the pack and not even the slowest compared to some of the pros. Now, getting into these World Cup downhill tracks though, they're seriously impressive, and we're gonna start off here in Leogang. Unfortunately, I couldn't start at the very top of the starting gate. They had that closed off, but I was able to start on this jump line over here to the left of it, and it took us to the beginning of the track. Leogang, like I'm racing World Cup. Yeah, buddy. Right off the bat, you can tell you're getting into some serious territory because immediately it is steep. And even though it's almost like a flow trail and it's pretty wide, it's steep, it's chunky, it's blown out. The race just happened a week or two prior to me riding this course. Whew. This is my first lap. I have not taken a look to see what it looks like. So I'm probably gonna be taking some go-arounds. It is chunky. Woo-hoo. Thank you. Oh, the infamous section. It's coming. Getting into the famous route section, and I was really hoping that they would still have the awesome sculpture set up with some of the world's best racers' names on it and those that have won here previously in the past. Unfortunately, they didn't have it set up, but I still felt like a pro going through this section. This is so cool. Not a pro, so I'll still take the go-arounds, but hey, coolest thing ever. Some serious gnar. Should have been keeping an eye on the pros lines. I am not taking the fast line. Oh, that's a big hole. Let's go this way. Yes, dude. What I didn't expect is that not long after that, you get to the long straightaway section where it's just fast and flat out. Those speeds that they must be going in order to clear these ridiculously long tables, they are insane. I thought maybe I would have a chance at it. There's no way. They have to be going probably 35 plus miles per hour. This is wild. They're going so fast through this section. Ah. Famous claw ride. Ooh, not the line. I'm especially famous this year because there's been riders gapping from the tunnel off that lip and onto the wall without ever touching the dirt in between, which That's nuts. As you can see here, I make a mistake on the wall myself, but now we're on to the wood section. Now the wood section is where I know things are going to become especially challenging, and that this is where I'm going to experience the most difficulty. So let's see how this goes. Into the woods in Leogang. Here we go. It is rutted as can be. If you caught the race, you saw that they did it in the rain, especially for practice and qualifying. And so this is going to be a rough track. I'm just trying to survive. Oh, the holes. Oh my God. Dude. Oh, I wish you could tell how steep this is. In the woods section here on the World Cup track, and I knew it was going to be intense, and especially after all the rain, it was going to be super washed out. But this is on another level. It's so hard to tell behind me. As you guys know, everything always flattens on camera, but this is absolutely crazy. And I would love to maybe make an attempt at riding this, maybe, but I'm out here by myself, and I've been here for a couple minutes. Not a single other person is even riding this. And the last thing I want is to OTB down this thing and just be stuck and nobody knows that I'm out here. So I think I'm gonna just go ahead and walk myself down this, and we'll regroup at the bottom. Walk down the first couple of steepest drops. Let's hop on the bike from here and see how much further down the trail that I can make it. A ton of clay and mud and them racing. And listen, everybody knows how good downhill World Cup racers are, but especially trying to tackle this in the wet, those guys are nuts. Oh. As I go OTB. I love the trees. They're so beautiful. Just taking a nap here on the Leogang World Cup track. The steeps in these woods, they are no joke. At least the dirt is nice and soft. That's helpful. Maybe I should stay focused though and actually try to ride and not talk while trying to conquer one of the hardest tracks in the world. Holy crap. Ugh. More walking. Y'all know the deal. Let me just pivot my bike. So steep. So steep. Just in case there's any keyboard warriors out there, if you yourself have ridden this World Cup track here at Leogang, I tip my hat to you. But if you have not, and you haven't ridden any other World Cup tracks, then I really want to just encourage you to go check one out for yourself, because you'll be able to see that even though on video it doesn't necessarily translate to being nearly as ridiculous as they actually are, once you are actually standing on one and or trying to ride your bike down one, that's when you'll realize there's a few key sections on almost every track that are just nuts. They're so hard to even ride, and anytime I've been on these tracks, I tend to be one of the few, and there's not many other people around. There's all the other tracks in the park that everybody's riding, but most of these double blacks, people are steering clear of them. And there's a reason for that. It's because they're super challenging and they're pretty high risk, but it's a great way to challenge yourself and see what you're capable of as a mountain biker. That's also why I keep in mind when I'm riding them that I play it relatively safe. I don't take any unnecessary risks. I don't want to ball myself up. I want to keep riding through the rest of the season and enjoying the mountain bikes that we love so much. Unfortunately, as I neared the end of the woods section, after picking myself up again and continuing on down the trail seemed to split in all different directions, and when I made my lap down the track, I wasn't able to figure out which way they utilized during their race runs, and I ended up choosing the wrong direction, and it brought me out to the main Leogang town area again and the bottom of the lifts. So I didn't get to finish out the track completely, but I did get to see the majority of it that I wanted to, and it was an awesome day at Leogang nonetheless. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and tell me where to ride next.